Hey honeys, I have so much to share with you. I don't even know how I'm going to make all the videos I want to make. There's all the stuff I want to say about learning to speak tarot. I have a bunch of video ideas. And then there's just wanting to share with you all the goodies, the goodies I got in February. And then I just came back from the Northwest Tarot Symposium. That was last weekend. It was awesome. And there's a potlatch table. And I got a lot at the potlatch table. I brought a lot. Every year I bring, you gotta feed the universe's generosity, right? You gotta bring good stuff that you're letting pass through your hands, and then maybe good stuff will come to you. Not all of this is stuff that that I was gifted. Some of it is stuff that I bought. Like I bought Beth Solinen's. I'm not saying her name correctly, am I? Let me even just look how her name is spelled. Beth Salonen. Beth, it was so great to meet you. I bought her beautiful Guardian Tarot. I finally got myself a copy of Prisma Visions. I got a deck. This was off of the potlatch table, the Tattooed Tarot. I finally got a copy of the Celestial Tarot. Now I'm looking for the guidebook, the little white book. I got the Michelangelo Tarot, again, off of the potlatch table, and the Ostara Tarot. Yeah, I want to go through all of these. I haven't even begun to think about them. And I'm getting really enamored of playing cards. So I also, off the potlatch table, I got the Robert M. Place's Hermes playing card oracle, which I'm interested to dive into. And I reignited my love for, where is it? Coming to me. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. This is a US Games edition. You can still find this often on eBay or even on Amazon. It's an 1864 playing card deck from L.I. Cohen, a playing card company in New York. And it's a beautiful deck. So I'm, as I think about arrangement and number and tarot, I'm realizing that I need to really start diving more heavily into the world of playing cards. So I'm eager to do that. Came back from Newt's wanting to do that. Plus I have this. Plus I have this. Plus I have this. So some unboxings there. Plus, what I'm going to share with you today. So let's dive in, shall we? I'm just going to pause now because I've been having issues with my microphone and my hair and my clothing, and I want to double check it. So I'm going to pause and then come back to this video. So I got a little derailed and sidetracked between when I filmed that first little segment and this piece. So, you can see the sky behind me turning this beautiful color of blue, almost like the blue in my scarf, as we edge into night. So I got to get this filmed quickly before we plunge into darkness. If you've been watching my videos at all, you probably have realized that I'm, a ridiculous, wild, unknown fan. I mean, I've got the ink to show it. And I don't know if I would love this deck as much as I do if I weren't from the Pacific Northwest. There's something about it being a Portland deck. There's a way in which I just can't help but read the aesthetic as being Northwestern, Pacific Northwestern. And then there's also this way, the moment, the way this deck became a classic. I mean, became so popular, first of all, but then also became a classic, really marking this particular time in tarot history. There have been many moments of tarot renaissance in the past 40 years. The 60s, the 70s, that Aquarian tarot moment, the 80s, that kind of tarot for yourself moment, tarot for self-transformation. The 90s, kind of introducing a whole bunch of new decks, mostly produced by the major publishers, US Games, Los Scarabeo. And then, where we are right now, I think, in a post-iPhone world, a world where We've all got like supercomputers in the palms of our hands, and so a world of kind of unprecedented access to information and to markets. So, you know, Kim Kranz's deck, 2012, right? Introducing us all to the possibility of a super premium self-published deck, and the production qualities of the first deck, right? With just the clarity of the lines and the coloring, the delicacy of it, the incredible cardstock, introducing us all to what cardstock could be, the smoothness. I mean, we really are still, this first edition still is kind of what we all think of as, you know, well, I shouldn't say we all, because there's so many differences of opinion, but this is still kind of like that, you know, slightly, I guess it's slightly plasticized lamination, that sort of rose petal quality, the thick cardstock, the beautiful finishing of the corners, the impeccable centering of the image on the card. Incredible deck. And then, you know, 3 years later, you get the second edition with 5 changed cards, different backing, and slightly thinner cardstock, right? And so for some, the second edition was let's see if you can see the difference in the height of these two stacks, right? I mean, there are tons of videos comparing the two editions, so I don't need to belabor that point. But for some, this was like a step down in quality because the cardstock is thinner. It's not quite as creamy feeling. For others, myself included, what you gain a kind of manipulability and a kind of, what do I want to say, ease of shuffling, right? When you go for a slightly thinner, more malleable cardstock. And then we get, when did it come out? 2016? 2017? When did the Harper Elixir come out? The box set, right? The thing about the box set, right, is this is an edition that let us know that you could have a mass-produced deck that was beautifully packaged and beautifully priced, right? That was reasonably priced. The Harper Elixir. This remains, actually, for me, my favorite edition of The Wild Unknown. And it remains my favorite edition because, you know, it's yet again thinner than the second edition. It's really pretty darn nice, and it's really nice to shuffle. And there's no copyright, right? We lose the copyright. So this irony, maybe for some of us, you go mass produced and you get rid of copyright. That's not usually how we think about these things, but it's yummy, it's scrumptious. So recently I purchased on eBay another second edition of the deck, but it wasn't Harper Elixir, it was Harper One. Now Harper One is the same imprint as Harper Elixir, it's just like the latest version of it. And I was shocked. This is a different deck. I didn't notice it at first. And then I tried shuffling it, and I was like, why is this hurting my fingers? Why is this cutting my hands? And I realized that the edges were not as well finished, and that made me want to compare the cardstock between the two. And this is the original Harper Elixir. While the two decks are, what do I want to say? The Harper Elixir is thinner, but it's higher quality. This is more cardboardy and sharper edged. So one thing I want to share with you guys is that if you're wondering what Wild Unknown deck to buy, I would say try to get yourself a hold of the Harper Elixir, which is now out of print. Not because this deck doesn't come in a mass-produced version anymore, but that Harper One, the latest version of the Harper imprint, is not as nice. And I was kind of shocked about that. It's like, how can that be? I mean, the images are still the same. I don't really discern any difference with the image, but the cardstock isn't as nice. Okay, so there's that. Now, what else do I want to say? So I recently got, if you lurk on eBay like I do, you will see from time to time eBay being flooded with a whole bunch of Chinese bootleg versions of decks that are familiar to us all. So Prismavisions, for instance, there are tons of Prismavisions decks on eBay coming from China and being ridiculously inexpensive. And lately I've noticed that there are tons of Wild Unknown decks coming from eBay, printed in China, costing things like $7, $8. So I was like, all right, I'm going to buy one because maybe the cardstock will be closer to the Harper Elixir and less like the Harper one. Maybe it'll be, I don't know. Let's just see. So I bought one of these decks. It took about a month to arrive, and then it did. And here it is. Okay. This is the deck I got for $7.88, I think. Made in China. Clearly a bootleg version. Really inexpensive. When I opened it up, it came in just like an envelope, like no cardboard around it, no bubble wrap. When I opened it up, I was like, something's wrong here. And then I realized, oh, it's not the same size. Huh. It's obviously not as thick, right? So I know the cardstock is going to be less thick, and it's not the same size. So here I am, opening up for you all my Wild Unknown deck, bootleg from China. I mean, all of these decks are printed in China, and what I've heard is, in China, I mean, China's kind of the home of modern printing, going back to, the 900s, the 10th century, the 8th century, the 9th century, going way back. China is doing woodblock printing. China is the home of playing cards. It's the home of paper money, So it makes sense that Chinese printing should be where the state of the art is now. That said, what I've heard is that what happens is, artists' digital files go to get printed in Chinese printing houses, and then, it's not so hard to run some bootleg versions. I don't know. I don't know what the origin of these decks are, but here we go. The Wild Unknown mini version. Oh boy. Oh my God. All right. Here it is, guys. Wow. It does have that new deck feel. This is cheapy of the cheap. This is, what is this like? This is the worst cardstock I've seen in a very long time. It's just simply slightly glossy. It's like business card, like not nice business cards, slightly glossy. I don't know if we can get that, if you can see the gloss, and really thin, and wow. Wow. I was hoping maybe it would be small, but it would be nice to use. I mean, this could be good for arts and crafts. Wow. Yeah, you can see how glossy it is. This is awful. So I have a video about a Chinese bootleg version of the first edition, which was actually pretty nice. There's nothing nice about this. This just makes me sad. Wow. Okay. The Wild Unknown. The Wild Unknown. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So, there's something, oh God. Yeah, it's just awful. I think these were scanned from, these are not coming from the original images. Wow. Yeah, there you go. The Wild Unknown. What I was starting to say is I think it's fun to get things from eBay to check them out. You don't need to check this out, guys. I checked it out for you. Okay. Take good care, and as always, thank you for watching and thank you for your practice. And it's night now. Bye, guys. Okay, one last little nubbin. So I love this deck so much, right? So I just had to start playing with my sad little bootleg version. And, you know, because it's such a good size and it's so bendy, it actually, you know, it's kind of pleasant to shuffle. You know, the cards are cards. Cards are cards, right? So I'm shuffling it and I'm asking what it wants me to know. And after a little while, I pull a card. And what card do I pull? I pull the Magician. You know, so, I mean, here's the question. You know, what is it that makes something powerful? What is it that makes something magical? You know, in a way, any damn thing that we get our hands on and invest our heart into becomes that which can align the universe, right? So, you know, my sad little bootleg deck, you can sort of see here, you know, it feels like the scan of a scan of a scan. You know, the imagery is less subtle. The contrasts are sharper. The colors, you can't see it so much in this card, but in a card like the Lovers, it just looks more, it just doesn't have the subtlety, right? But, you know, it's still my girl. She's still my girl. Yeah, there you go. My sad little bootleg deck. Still my girl. What can I say? I'm smitten. I'm smitten. Yeah, so if you don't own this deck, try to get your hands on the Harper Elixir, the first imprintings of the mass-produced version. It's pretty scrumptious. Barring that, get any one of the first or second editions that you can find on the resale market. Don't buy one of the $8 editions that have flooded eBay. All right, guys. Much love to you.